So, what are the top internal or external blocks keeping them from moving forward? What stops them from taking action even when they know they need to? So, I think a lot of times, not everybody's the same. Obviously, I think not everybody in a family is given a big vision. Um, I think a lot of it is some of the things that could hold people back is if I'm finally successful in my business, or even if I start my business. A lot of times people don't have cheerleaders. They don't have cheerleaders around them. A lot of people in families, they want to keep you at the same level, friends and family. And so when you step outside your comfort zone, outside what everybody expects from you, there is a chance to lose people, right? There's a chance to lose people. There's a huge chance that there's people going, who are you to become a coach, and what makes you think you can make a difference? And so with a lot of that, there could be a huge amount of self-doubt. Like I said before, imposter syndrome. When you're, so you have the desire to do something, you don't know how to do it yet. And then you start following other people. And like, for example, if I was following Tony Robbins, yes, Six Human Needs, absolutely love that stuff. But if I try to show up like Tony Robbins shows up, it would be total imposter syndrome because it's inauthentic, it's not real, it doesn't fit. And so you start to, well, I'm not going to show up that way because I feel very uncomfortable. Or it is a growth thing, right? So you have to grow into who you want to be. And when you grow into who you want to be, you have to continually upgrade your mindset. I'm always listening to books on Audible, and oh my gosh, the books have made all the difference for me. And so without expanding your mind, you're there's a disconnect with identity, right? So you have this identity. I'll take me for example. I have an identity of being a bartender, and I've been a bartender for 30 years, and people expect me to be a bartender. Most of the people that I know, I met through bartending, right? So there's a certain identity that I have as a bartender that's completely different than the identity that I want to be. I have a huge vision. I want to help raise the vibration of the planet. I want to make a global impact. And that is a completely different identity from a bartender, right? And so until I get to become this person, there is still that conflict because 3 to 5 days a week I'm in the bartender role, but my heart belongs to this other role. And so there's several things that are kind of playing against you. For one, if you don't have support, you have to figure out how to find support. You have to figure out how to feed your soul and feed your mind, and how to grow into those new shoes. Because if you can't grow into the new shoes, then the shoes won't ever fit. The shoes are going to be too big, and so you're going to want to stay with the shoes that fit. And so there's lots of things, lots of self doubt. Being an entrepreneur is not for the faint of heart. We want to do something that we love to do, that lights our soul, and we want to quit that day job that you might work 30 to 40 hours a week on, to then become an entrepreneur where then you're working 60 hours a week and making crap for money for the first couple years sometimes. And so there's lots of things that are going on, and it's hard. It's when you work a job, there's rules, there's things to follow, you don't have to make it up. When you're an entrepreneur, it's like, okay, it's mine, I have the freedom to choose, but you have to choose wisely. Otherwise, you're going to fall on your face, and you're going to fall on your face over and over and over and over, unless you have a guide, unless you have a coach, unless you have things to follow, right? You have the freedom of choice, but at the same time, you have to figure it out. And so there's lots of things that could hold somebody back. And I've had to work through a lot of these, and I'm still working through a lot of them. And like I said, I'm feeding my mind all the time because I have lived in that other life, the life. It's been a good life. I've made so many friends. I was a single mom for 12 and a half years. It helped me make good money. But I still always since I was 19, actually since I was 17, I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit, the spirit where I don't want to live somebody else's version of my life for them. I want to create my own life. I want unlimited possibilities. I want to create this. And it took, I've been growing since that point. I was in Amway and I had, a tape of the week and the book of the month and feeding my mind since that point. And I guess I'm a really slow learner because I'm almost 55, but it is a process. And so a lot of times there are many internal blocks. A huge part of what I'm trying to solve is not, well, I want to solve the internal blocks for the people through the coaching and the connection and guidance. I want to solve the external blocks by all the fragmented parts of online business, right? That is what the co-creation engine is doing, is it's eliminating all the marketing, the copywriting, all the tech stuff, all the stuff that now somebody could skip all that part and they don't have to learn all that. And so I want to help with that part. It is up to the entrepreneur and the coach to do ongoing feeding their mind, feeding their brain, feeding their spirit, and connecting with the right people. So there's lots of internal blocks and external blocks. There is, fear of failure. There is judgment from people that want to keep them small, or people who just say, hey, you've tried this over and over and you failed and you failed and you failed. And so you have to find the courage to step into your bigger shoes and rise above that and say, my past doesn't define my future. And just because I failed in the past doesn't mean I'm going to fail in the future. And so there's lots of things that come into play that can kind of hold people back. I'm trying to give them a way to eliminate most of the external stuff, but ultimately it depends on your resolve to, I'm going to figure this out no matter what. And that's what I've had to do. I know if I can't figure this out, then I will live an unfulfilled life for me. And I feel bad saying that because I have a loving husband and loving family. But at the same time, my desire to make an impact is bigger than that. I can't shut it up, and I don't want to shut it up. That's why I've continued to push through. And that's what people are going to have to figure out on their own.